Sunday, November 5th, 2023. Here at Fort Myers Beach again. And it's sad. I wanted to go to the east coast of Florida, but next weekend, because it's a longer weekend, will be a better weekend to go. And plus, there were so many community sales happening, garage selling, that I didn't want to let my friend down. He wanted to go out garage selling, and I felt terrible that I was going to go out to Palm Beach and do garage selling. But so anyway, it was actually pretty sad yesterday. I only spent like $6 garage selling, and I didn't even buy resellable stuff, which is sad. And went out today garage selling, didn't spend a dime. Hit some sales this morning, actually on the way to the beach. 2 community sales that were supposed to have sales, they didn't even happen today, so it was kind of sad. But anyway, one thing I have to say today is when I was coming over the Fort Myers Bridge onto Cerro Island, it's only 77 degrees outside right now. It's about 11 o'clock again. It's daylight savings time right now, so it would have been, this time would have been 12 o'clock, but because I fell back an hour, it's 11 o'clock, but it looks like 12 o'clock. But what I did notice is that the humidity level is down so much that you can see clear as day Marco Island from here. You can't normally see that. I could see downtown Naples, I could see Vanderbilt Beach, I can see Bonita Springs clear as day. Sanibel Island, all the way down to West Gulf Drive, you can see clear as day. You can actually see Pine Island from the top of the bridge. St. James City, clear as day, and which you normally can't see. So anyway, that is how low humidity is. And there's some clouds in the sky. It's just that surface humidity is so low. So the mid-level humidity is up there, but the surface level is extremely low. So anyway, I got these two sunglasses at a garage sale because mine were getting kind of scratched up. I kept on, you know how you use when you transport stuff, it always bumps around and stuff. Anyway, took me a little extra amount of time. It's high tide right now too, which is even more sad because when I was coming over the bridge, I noticed it was high tide. But anyway, so you have to endure. You have to make do with the high tide. And yeah, I was shocked that for the 2 community sales in Cape Coral that we went to, 7 each one. There should have been 14 sales. None of them happened. The individual sales outside all happened. I was thinking it would be the other way around. I think the community sales should have happened and the individual sales were canceled. No, the individual sales happened, which means that the community sales had a great day and the individual sales were negatively impacted with all the community sales happening. So we're on a bicycle on the street here. I rarely go up this way, but because it's high tide, I kind of want to peer into the Gulf to see how high the tide really is. And last week I came out here. Normally tides go like 7 days, so if it's high tide one week, the next week at the same time it's going to be low tide. But not today. Now the tide wasn't exceptionally high as it could be, but it still was high enough that it's worrying me a lot. Someone bicycled on the sidewalk here. Traffic is a little late on Fort Myers Beach. So we're passing by Margaritaville. They're supposed to open in less than a month. So we'll see on that one. I still see a lot of work needs to get done. But and then to the left here, this place is fenced off, which means that there's a building permit or a contract been issued that's fenced off. So it would be nice to see Margarita own that. I mean, I don't like to see Lee County property given away, but come on, Margaritaville needs the extra property, and they should be kind of compensated for their endeavor after the hurricane. They should be given the right to buy that. Anyway, this is Times Square, what's left of it, and no bicycling rides. Good one, huh? They should make this a road again with parking. In fact, allowing people to park over here where the old Topo Mast and and Pier 1 is, that would probably be the smart thing. I can get $25 a day parking, maybe 30, and serve ice cream. So I'm looking at the water, and it doesn't look as high as it is. It looks like it's a mid-tide, possibly coming in. So, all right. So even though the backwater looks high, the tide may be going out. The backwater usually is higher than the beach water when the tide's going out. So that could be a good sign. For one, it means that the beach already is wet. So it could be firm. The sand could be firmer to bicycle. I'm trying to adjust this thing. I hope I don't touch the buttons and turn my camera off. I'm adjusting it right now because it's not level. Let's see, okay, this looks a little bit more level now. Okay. This place is a little full and a little crazy. I still see some open spots. People don't realize that you have to pay to park here. All the free spots are taken. There's free parking right in front of, I forget what it's called now, but the freestyle or whatever it's called. Used to be Jensen's or Wings there. That's the free parking, but in front of that style, whatever the style is there, that's all been taken. So behind that building and in front of it's all taken. That's the free parking. Where I parked, there was only 2 more open spots. So up to like 6 spots there. There's only 2 open. So I like parking over there. It's safe and people don't scratch your car or dent it. Everyone's trying to be low key over there. It's cool. This camera still looks like it's drifting a little bit. I may overcompensate it. Get it to a point where I'm not taking the road, but I'm at least taking some of the sky. So it's good to see that the property has an active permit on it. Oh gosh, I should have bicycled this way. It's the same thing when driving on snow. When you drive on sand, you have to apply the same tactics. You have to, if you're about to spin out, turn into the spin so you don't spin out. So if you're curving one direction, turn in that direction so that your car will compensate. And in this case, my bicycle will compensate. See, the sidewalks here are still all ripped up. Hello. So she had a camera mount on her bicycle. Has like a tablet now. Probably has a bigger battery. Yeah, I'm looking at the water right now. It looks like mid-tide. So I don't know what that means, but it does mean I can bicycle on the beach. That's for sure. And the bicycling up by, see the sidewalks all ripped up here. I know people are tired of me having the same old bicycle video, so maybe I'm bicycling on this side of the road. Kind of mix it up a little bit. Yeah, we are going to Bobwitch Pass because everyone wants to see what's going on down there. Alright, so I'll pick up the tempo a little bit. Yeah, I don't want to bicycle on Sierra Boulevard all the time. Now, Lover's Key's got some nice bicycling paths in there. It's definitely worth the trip. If you're coming to Fort Myers Beach, go down to Lover's Key, and there's some bicycling paths back in there. Now they're awesome. At high tide, not so awesome, but at low tide, definitely awesome to bicycle in the bicycle trails. At high tide, some of the trails, especially at an extreme high tide, some of the trails may be moist, a little couple puddles here and there, but at low tide, it's just awesome. Because there's still a nice triple canopy back in there. The mangrove and stuff was spared the Hurricane Wrath. So this green place, we're just passing on the left-hand side. That is a phenomenal place. You know, if there's any place that would be for sale, that's the place you want to contact because you can tell they had no insurance. You can tell that it was owned privately by not a big corporation. Those are the people that, if you cajole them the most, I'm not saying you're going to get off scot-free and cheap. I'm just saying that if you cajole them the most, make creative offers. Tell them, maybe you want to go into a partnership with them. You can get the crew in there to fix it up, buy the material, and be maybe a 50-50 partner. I mean, you have to explain it to them that, the longer this takes to come back online, the more money you're going to lose. And the more money you lose, and then you're going to face financial ruin. The faster it comes online, and banks are not willing to lend anyway, so private investors is really the only way you're going to get financing, especially if you didn't qualify for the FEMA loans. And to say the truth, not that many people knew that FEMA was offering small business association loans. And there's a lot of rumors and a lot of, I wouldn't say fairy tales, but a lot of gossip that the Small Business Association wasn't really lending. They initially were lending on residential property, but on commercial property, it's a different story. You have to jump through a lot of hoops. So anyway, so that's the investment tidbit. You have to look at the places that are still standing there being worked on. That's where you make the creative offers. You have to think outside of the box. Just like I was looking at those tennis courts, that's thinking outside of the box as a business opportunity. Because let's face it, nobody plays tennis anymore. The only problem is that I don't have $1 million sitting around to buy the property unless they're really going to get, if they seriously want to sell it for a seriously cheap price, they're probably not going to do that. I don't have $1 million to buy the property and then another $1 million to develop it. If I had an investor or two, that's something. So you guys might want to think about that. I would build a elevated strip mall with pickleball on the ground floor. Pickleball, you don't need to have a big ceiling like you would tennis. You could build a pickleball 15 feet, with a 15-foot ceiling, that's fine. It could be pickleball squash. You can bounce the ball off the ceiling. So you have covered pickleball 24/7, and with a hot dog and drink wagon and elevated shops. Some of them being real estate. I need one for myself. So look, I'm looking out here. It looks like it's a mid-tide because I can see the sandbar. Sandbar is about 40 yards offshore. There's another sandbar. It looks like it's about 2 yards offshore. It looks like it's one just merging with the beach. Now, because there's no water here, but the beach here is still wet, I know the tide was, recently in, so it's just gone out. So now, looking at the seaweed, however, the seaweed is kind of bunched up as if the tide's coming in. So maybe the tide is coming in, looking at the seaweed. The seaweed is giving a tide coming in answer. Whereas the beach itself was kind of wet. So this could be this could be a little bit of flowing going on, not ebbing. Flowing means it's coming in. Ebbing means it's receding. But beach bicycling right now is awesome. It looks like right here is the zone to bicycle. There's a lot of seashells. Or right up here is the bicycling zone, where I see a lot of other bicycling tire treads. Looks like people prefer it up here because there's a little less seashells. Although down there seems to be a little more foot traffic. There's a pink shell we're passing. So, this is the off season. People come to Fort Myers Beach in October, November, September, October, and the first 2 weeks of November is off season. The second 2 weeks of November is season. So people come here during, during season. They don't want to go to Europe and get caught in World War III. And I'm telling you, the deals right now in Fort Myers Beach are very attractive, more so than Sanibel. Thank you. Hello. I'm trying to say hello to people. People are staring at me. It's only polite when people stare at you to say hello back. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. You're okay. Thank you. Yeah, I told my friend, when you go out garage selling, you be nice to people. Come on, you don't know whether, you don't want to insult people. They're trying their best to have a good garage sale. There's some people out there, though, they have a garage sale, they're spiteful to people. They're like nasty. They're like, no, I want $50 for this $10 item. I'm like, okay, but still, I'd be nice. Yes. You never know. That $50 item could have a pile of gold in it. They just don't have the oomph in the morning. Maybe not enough coffee to convey that. Yeah, it's filled with gold dust or something. So I just try to be polite to everybody. coming from New Jersey, has a habit of teaching their kids to swear. Swearing in New Jersey go hand in fist. I mean, you're taught all the swear words, compound swear words before you can talk. You just hear it all the time. I think when I was a little baby, that's all I heard. I heard compound swear words. Anyway, enough of that. Just in New Jersey, swearing is it comes. That's like normal talk. When you hear Trump talk, he's actually really. People from New Jersey can relate to him because even though he's from New York, people from New York don't swear as much as people from New Jersey. So, but you understand his point of view because living in New Jersey, that's especially when people from New York came to New Jersey and drive, you just swear at them. They're driving 20 miles an hour in a 50 or 65. You want to swear at them. In New Jersey, there's always police trying to pull you over for no good reason. You go 55, they say you're going 85, and at 55, you're going 55, they still give you a ticket, you swear at them. That's how it is. Anyway, moving back to real estate here. I have been living in New Jersey for 30 years, so, and I'm one of those people that I'm glad to have left. It's a beautiful state, everywhere is beautiful. Just that, it's the people living there ruin it, so. I'm not even going to go there, but New Jersey is a beautiful state. If you're just passing through, you're not living there. But if you have to deal with the day-to-day dogma and all the other BS that comes with it, forget it. You're better off moving, changing your address to Florida like Trump did, and calling it quits. Now, this is a nice seashell. We just passed. It may be broken, but I'm going to have to back up because my eyes sometimes spot things because I am a seashell. I've been brought up on Sanibel for the last 60 years. And I didn't see it, but it's a sharp side. Oh, there it is. I see it. So from this angle, it's easy to see. All right, now that I look at it, this is a broken seashell, but it was a shark's eye, but looked like a cat's eye, but it's broken. So anyway, he toss it back. I'm wearing some shoes that I bought at a garage sale for $2. The guy had 10 on it. He dropped it to 5. I said, "What about 2?" And of course, I hit him with, "It's a half size too small." But when you're pedaling, your toes crunch up anyway to get the blood into your foot. So a 10.5 bicycling, and it's a 10.5 wide, so it fits. These shoes are perfect for the beach. Although they're really nice, I shouldn't be wrecking them. But they have a nice rubber sole. Where my other shoes, they had a rubber sole, but I'm just. I want to keep at least one pair of shoes for garage selling good. I don't want to ruin them. Of course, the beach shoes here, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes I hose them down, so these shoes, they can handle it, but they're in exceptional condition right now. I know they're going to be ruined, but what are you going to do? They feel pretty good bicycling. They have nice, good rubber grips that can grip the pedals really good. So again, the wind. There's a slight breeze coming out of the north-northwest heading south. That's why it's kind of calm water. So the breeze is a short going out, the sea breeze. So the breeze is coming from the left of me and going to the right of me. So it's pushing the water down and it's making the low tide lower. And or maybe maybe it is a mid-tide, but it's pushing the water outwards here. So there's somebody walking backwards up the beach. There's more seaweed up here, which means that there was a low tide, and the wave action. I mean, it was slightly windy yesterday. The wind was coming out of the northeast, but it's changed direction. Now it's out of the north-northwest. So we're in front of Lynn Hall Park, which is next to Times Square. And I used to own a restaurant at Lynn Hall Park. It got wiped out during the hurricane, but I had sold it 30 plus years ago, so it's okay. I kind of want to buy back in though, but not the prices they want. The price that I paid originally, which was $50,000, I am definitely a buyer, but fortunately nobody has offered me their property for $50,000. In fact, I think I'm going to offer that. Thank you. Sorry. These women are posing for a photo on the sandbar, and I guess anything is scaring me. Look. I have a big magnetometer. I wanted to bring to the beach, but I was in a rush and I forgot it. I don't know. I was charging it. It was charging for like since last week. I don't have a 1 amp charger. I only have a 500 milliamp. So, but still, it should have been in full charge. I would like to bring it to the beach and check it out. But I forgot to bring it. Terrible. I don't want to bring it during the midday though and have everybody ask me a question, what is it and everything. But if you're doing underground wires or conduit, that's the type of device you use, because it will differentiate between copper and steel and aluminum conduit underground. And because it could identify aluminum, I'm pretty sure it will identify gold too. But it's probably not designed to identify gold because it was designed to identify conduit underground. I don't think it'll look for voids, and I don't think it will look for PVC. That's the word I'm looking for. Alright, so we're passing Margaritaville, and I'm looking at it. All the doors are done. It looks like it's all been painted. The screens are in. The banisters are in. The railings are in. And everyone is pointing over there. They have more fencing material, more whatchamacallit, more I'm at a loss now for a word. They have all these pilings that they're making into rope fencing. I see they have a ton more, so they're gonna add more. They're still not done putting the Marset in the pool. They haven't put the final, whatever it is, inch coat of Marset. They haven't done that. But the hydraulic cement's in place. Anyway, so a lot of people looking at me like, hey, is this guy talking to himself? All right, I got 2 cameras in front of my bicycle that are going recording right now. Well, that dog was pretty cool. He just stood there. See, that's the thing. I would if I brought a dog to the beach, I wouldn't break my chain. You bring him to the beach and chain him up. That's ridiculous. My dog would be checking everyone out. But I would train the dog so he wouldn't run away. If I said stay, he would stay. But of course, if somebody lured him away, even with food, police, he'd be there. It's kind of this is the first day of standard time, excuse me, and people are still confused about the time, so they think it's an hour later, but it's not. So they probably slept in this morning. I think they had an hour extra of sleep, but then that hour extra of sleep turned into 3 hours extra of sleep, and they probably are getting up late. That's how it is. Sorry. So this seaweed here is huge. Look at this. This is forming its own little dune. It's a little dune system. We got 2 dogs here. They're pretty cute. We're just checking them out. Alright. So the air here kind of stinks because of all the seaweed. I don't see dead fish. I just see a lot of seaweed. So there was a lot of wind again. So the wind must have been pushing waves over the. There is grass beds a mile to 2 out, and well, actually they're closer than that. But they're where all the seashells are, the nest roosting, whatever you want to call it, the corals. They're only about 2 to 3 miles out. There's tons of them. Seashells pretty much. Obviously come from those. The seaweed grows all around them too. That's a big fish hatchery too. A lot of the shrimp boats go out there. So there must have been a really low tide with a lot of wind, and that's what it's kind of like a lawnmower. Made those waves. They get down low. They pick up some seashells that are sharp, and they cut the grass. So that's what happens. The lawnmower gave it a trimming. So now the seaweed washes up on the beach, and it's going to form a dune if the seaweed is pushed in. But that's what builds a beach, Seaweed definitely grabs sand. So it's part of how beaches are formed. It's part of how the seaweed takes nutrients out of the water, puts in the seaweed. The seaweed is cut by seashells in low tide and then floats to the beach. So it keeps the sea levels lower because otherwise the seas would fill up with everything and the water would rise. So seaweed being cut naturally like this floating the beach keeps the sea level where it should be. Otherwise all these boats sinking, these fish dying would pile up in the sea and cause the sea levels to keep on rising and rising, and that would be no good. So seaweed, the act of seaweed dying and floating, and this is a lot of seaweed, this is a lot of mass. This allows the seas to be lower, and all that mass is floating to the beach and builds beach. Also causes a smelly beach. Right? It's not that smelly, not as smelly as a red tide. All this seaweed could cause a red tide, but because the wind is coming from the north, it's not aggravated by any of the sea smell. So actually, I saw some what do you call it, jellyfish now. Yeah, those little square jellyfish. Now those things will start reeking, and those will cause a red tide when they start dying in big quantity. But obviously this just happened. The seaweed would be brown if it was a week old. It's red. It was recently cut, like either this morning or last night. So not within 24 hours. That's what all this. Now here's the thing. Up ahead, I don't see that much seaweed. There's just past Diamond Head. Diamond Head has the resources, the money to rake their beach, but up here they don't. So because I don't see seaweed here, it's kind of weird. So it's just offshore from Diamond Head and north, where because the currents pretty much are flowing the same way. They're flowing north to south. So I'm heading kind of a southerly direction. I'm sorry, my fault. Thank you. So yeah, there were a lot of seashells though on the beach. I'm doing a lot of tire avoidance. I'm crunching a lot of seashells, but I'm avoiding them. And the beach has a lot of bumps on it too. Constantly looking at my cell phones, making sure they're not being turned off by the bump. Or sometimes they'll get jostled, aiming in a direction I don't want them aiming. I want to keep them level and forward. One has a little flashing light, so I can tell it's still on. The other one I can't see. The cell phone is obscured by the cell phone holder. The bullet camera, I can see it's still on. And the bullet camera pretty much is my 4K camera, so I take the video, but the audio from the bullet camera is not as good, so I take the audio from the other camera. If I can get a Google Pixel camera, the one that has a good 4 or 8K, that one has good video and audio. I'm still looking for one. I don't want to plop down the full $400. I don't get paid for this. So this is just for people who want to invest in Fort Myers Beach, but Google Street View is not good enough. For one, Google Street View is almost 6 months old, sometimes more than that. Some of the street views that they're showing are over a year old, which is ridiculous. So you can't count on it. There was a time about 6 months ago, Google Street View was almost like up to date, like just a month or two old. But now that they're starting to show Street View, that's really old. So you have to watch videos like mine to get real time. Sorry. You're scared. You scared me. See, the problem is I'm trying to bicycle on the area where shells are devoid, but unfortunately this also has ripples on it. So you see this tire groove is? He's finding the best spot to bicycle, but it's actually up here. Let me try bicycling up here. Oh, yeah, it's a little bit better. Hello.
I know. Well, say you're holding probably
So I have to watch out. There's a lot bigger seashells in this area. And there's sand castles, so I could hit a sand trap easy. And the beach changes, you know. It was good up here, and now it's kind of soft sand. Whereas I can see now most of the bicyclists change down to a lower latitude there on the beach. Latitude. I'm still thinking of Jimmy Buffett. He died. It's sad. He won't be able to see his Margaritaville opening, grand opening. I mean, he's got many Margaritavilles. It's a corporation, but still, they have on the side of their building changes in latitude, changes in attitudes. They have that emboldened right on the building of the hotel. So it's kind of sad that, you know, obviously he's the motif. That song. It's fun to drive through seagulls. Flocks, a big flock of seagulls. So anyway, up here is Fresh Catch and the old Junkaroos. Junkaroo by the Bay is still in business. I'm not sure if they're called Junkaroo on the Bay yet, or still, but this Junkaroo, there was evidence that they were going to demolish the whole building. But, you know, FEMA's got that 50% BS. And to tell you the truth, a raised platform like that costs a lot of money. So if I was the lawyer, I would tell them this raised platform is at your, you know, your minimum acceptable height. I would try to convince them that you could knock down half the structure, but still able to rebuild at that elevated platform to save on costs. You know, it's kind of ridiculous that you have to add all your costs in when, you know, this is a hurricane that affected us. We shouldn't have to, you know, we're trying to rebuild, not trying to rebuild, not get screwed by both Mother Nature and some idiot who laughs himself to sleep at night, knowing that he's screwing citizens trying to, you know, make it, you know, in a free market, and he gets paid by some kind of government, you know, screwing in the tax citizens. Exactly, but anyway, I'm not gonna go there. Already pissed at that. You know, I'd like to buy that, the old Fort Myers Beach fire station, but I don't know what I'll do. You know, the problem with that is that it survived and everything. I know the government would sell it cheap, but for how cheap? And there's no parking. So that's another thing. There's no parking. I already looked at it. You know, if they mandate 6 parking spots, forget it. I could see maybe 4. I can see 4 parking spots, and the seashells right now are starting to get really good. I can see that these seagulls are really hungry because they're not moving too far out of the way, or they just got fed and they don't want to fly. That's okay. They're learning not to run too far. Like that baby one there. Yeah, I'm looking over at my left-hand side. There was a conch that I just drove almost over. That was a nice, you know, one of those acceptable takes, you know. Acceptable. I'm only going to go down to Publix on the beach. So, I'm not really getting a headwind, but I got like a northerly breeze bisecting my bike here. So it was noticeable, but I'm not getting like a headwind. I'm getting a side wind from left to right. So it's good. There was a delayed reaction from the dog. He saw me, but didn't bark until I was receding away from him. I just saw a really nice conch shell on the ground, but I'm too far away from him. I'm not going to. I just saw what appeared to be a nice cat's eye. So yeah, there are certain shells I will stop for. If I see a Genonia, yes, that's an ancient shell. I picked that up. You rarely see that. If I see a really big shell, like bigger than 4 inches diameter, I will stop and grab that. It's got to be a nice one though. And then cone shells. I like cones. tulips, apples. They gotta be big though. I'm passing a lot of shells. They are tulips and cones. But the beach is just so beautiful here at Iceland. I want to enjoy this beach, not knowing if the tide's gonna come in or not. So I see some fig shells. I see, again, fighting conchs. I see a lot of left-handed whelks, tulips. It's good seashell, fig shells. I am also seeing some angel wings, which are where I usually find them at Sailable Lighthouse, but I'm seeing them here. I'm seeing a lot of hard cockle shells too. Clam shells, I'm seeing clam shells. A lot of full heart cockle and big, like 4-inch in diameter. But you know, I don't have a backpack on, so I'm not gonna pick them up. Big shells like that, I need to be on foot to pick them up. But I'm seeing a lot of excellent seashells. But if I see an alphabet cone shell, boy, I stop. If I see a huge cat's eye, shark's eye, I'll stop for a shark's eye. I mean, they're almost identical, cat's eyes and shark's eyes. Shark's eyes are just purplish, and cat's eyes are kind of like speckled brownish. But you know, it's the rarity. And any type of a purple shell, like a purple tulip, yeah, I'll stop for that. But the seashelling is still great. Now it's on both sides of me. So people don't even want to pick them up. The seashelling is so good. It looks like these seagulls have already picked through and got all the seashells that couldn't make it into the water. They've already picked. Okay, now the seashelling has diminished a little bit. It's not as good. And now it's picking up again. Not as good though. So the seashelling has diminished a little bit. So we're right before couplets. This is still, it's perfect at the place, but I don't even feel like stopping because it's so good. Okay, now a little bit more seashells on the beach. All right, now it's abated a little bit. Now seashells are good. The tide does look like it's creeping in slightly. It could be a little bit of flowing going on. I saw an olive shell just passed. I love big olive shells. They make great pendants, like for necklaces. If you have a keychain having an olive shell, like you can make an olive shell light by drilling out the top of it and putting a light bulb on it. So you can make a seashell olive LED light, and that's great for a Christmas gift to give. You know, to put on a keychain, you'd actually have to drill the hole, put the chain in it, possibly glue it, put some kind of a battery in it. It's probably going to be disposable, so you know, just you can put an alkaline battery or whatever. Put a keychain on it. It's a good little stocking stuffer. Maybe inscribe Sanibel on it. The seashells are always a good gift. It's the cheap way out. I mean, if you live in Florida, you have the option of giving citrus fruit. I used to give boxes of lemons. I had a lemon tree that was like a hyper producer, and it would produce, wow, it would start producing in August, but for the most part, most of the beautiful lemons came in October and November. But I could have a box by the end or the mid of November. I could ship it, and you know, yeah, it's 30 some pounds, and it was the really big lemons, the Ponderosa, and it was like a Ponderosa / Knobby / Sunkissed. I took some seeds of both, and I sliced them. And I not glued them. I taped them back together, threw them in a hole, and they grew. So I took seeds, sliced them in half, stuck them together. I'm thinking, well, I wanted to get a huge Sunkissed, you know, because that's the way you do it. That's the way you breed them like that. You want the characteristics of both, so you're gambling. You take your chance. You just have to know which seed you put where, so you understand the differences when it does grow. And that's a 10-year almost cycle. So it's a 10-year experiment. You can't do too many of them in life unless you have an orange grove and you can plant a couple hundred of these trees. All right, so I'm getting ready to make a U-turn. Publix is. I'm trying to think if I'm passing it or not. It must be coming up. It's right up here now. The beach is still awesome. Oh yeah, I passed Publix. I can see it. I'm looking back. I already passed it. So yeah, ride this blue umbrella. I'll make a U-turn. Just gorgeous out this morning. Even these little cloud flow. They have their little comfy perch. There's a big seagull here. You find in New Jersey, down in Atlantic City, the seagulls there are huge. They don't want to even get out of your way. They're so huge. Alright, so we're going to make a U-turn right here. Now the seashells up here are awesome. I was looking down. I see some lace murexes. I see even this turban shell is pretty awesome. This is what a turban shell looks like. Oh, no. This is a tulip, a broken one. It looked like a turban shell, but it's a broken tulip. I see some lace murexes. White. They usually come in white, but other colors too, which are similar to apple murex shells. The lace murexes usually are white, like this. This is a lace murex. I'm seeing a lot of these, so that's a lace murex. See how it has that like dinosaur backbone sticking out like that? That's a lace murex. But again, if you're a little kid, this is a horse conch. It's best to get the bigger ones, but this is what a little horse conch looks like. So this one's obviously not in good condition, but that's what a horse conch looks like. Yeah, this is the left-handed whelk, although it's still broken. So the shells this here are kind of broken. Almost like someone took a beach cruiser, a big car, and just drove over them and crushed it. The seashells aren't as good as up there by Publix and just north of Publix. But the seashells definitely to the right of me. That's where I can see the big shells are. They got stuck at the high tide mark. So low tide normally is at sunrise at 6 in the morning and sunset 6 at night. Because normally, middle of the day, it's high tide. When the sun is directly overhead, the sun's gravity is pulling on the water, the earth, and it's usually an hour delayed, so it's not really at 12 noon. There's like a 1 p.m. hour delay, but that's usually high tide. So when you have low tide, that means the moon is at 90 degrees, and the moon is closer to the earth than normal, and it has it overcompensates and pulls the tide and making the tide go out. So the moon is overcompensating for the sun's gravitation. So that's how you do the tides, but you'd have to know the orbits and the rotation of the moon and the sun to really know the tides correctly. I don't follow that too closely. I'm not an ancient Mayan or Greek or Roman. The moon was kind of bright out, but it's going towards a new moon. So that's a bump. I gotta stop doing that. I could bump the cameras off. Not the 4K, but I could bump the other camera. 4K, I just have to be careful. I don't push the button. But my main camera, the cell phone, which does the sound recording, if it hits a bump, it can turn itself off because the camera mount itself is like a finger. If it bounces, it could indicate that it recognize it as a finger and it'll turn itself off. So I just went over a turkey wing. Okay, the seashells right now are not that good. But it could change. Could change within a couple yards. I'm looking ahead of me. I can see the seashells are bunched up a little bit. Sorry about that. I'm going to stay up in this area. Shouldn't have dipped down right there. So I can see the sandbars about 40 yards out, and it's pretty low right here. So that sandbar is going to prevent a lot of seashells from coming ashore. So that could be why the seashells are not as good in this area. Whereas with a sandbar in about 200 yards, the sandbar drifts out to about 50 yards, and it's a little bit lower, sandbar. So there's more wave action, so there's more sand that can be pushed up on the beach or turn over the beach, which exposes more seashells, so seashelling is better. It's really nice here on the beach. It's not that hot. Beautiful scenery. There's a boat racing offshore. It's a pontoon boat but it must be doing about 20 knots. It's really cooking offshore, and it's racing. Hello. It's only some seaweed here. I just saw a beautiful tulip shell, but I know it was live, so I don't want to mess with it. But this was gorgeous, about 3 inches diameter. Close to the shore though. And it looked polished too. That's the thing, when seashells are still being lived in, the mussels inside of it are constantly going in and out, which polishes the seashell. This thing looked like the mussel was aware of its polishedness, and it was aware that it needed to be polished, and kept on polishing itself. Or just like to run. Mussels like to turn themselves so that the mussel's on the ground, so they could inchworm along. So now we're going into a little people void coming up. So right in front of the old Junkaroo Fresh Catch, there's a people void going on. So they may have the blockade on their parking lot still in effect, or reinforced, or whatever. So I'm looking over on the Cerro Boulevard, and the church that is just south of the blue roof church. See, that's a huge seagull. You'll find seagulls like that in New Jersey, and I'm telling you, they are huge. And you wonder why that thing's down here. But that seagull obviously has genes from up north. Where it's a harsher environment up north. You got to be bigger to survive. The squirrels are twice as big up north. They have to eat constantly and store food, so they're constantly eating and storing food because they know the winter's going to be harsh. So here's just ran over a pen shell. I think when it punctures the tire, you hear a loud popping sound. But that didn't sound good. I gotta really I was trying to avoid that person walking, but wasn't keeping my eye on where the tire was. And even though I was in this, what I call this hollow of seashells, it could change abruptly. Even for a split second, there could be a whole bunch of shells that just form a line, and you have to drive over them. There's no way to avoid them. It's not like there's one seashell you just have to avoid. There's a line of seashells 30 feet wider. You try to look for the least destructive way to go over it. I didn't see it until last second, so I chose the pen shell because there was like left-handed whelks and other sharp things sticking up. See, now the beach is nice. Oh, okay, thanks. She said there's a pit bull, so that's the dog that was barking at me. But I must have barked at her too. The people are really neighborly like that. So, okay, this is the church we're passing. The church I used to get their free water from. There's also a food bank in there, but the sad thing is that they're not conducting any sermons. So, I think the Presbyterian Church of Cypress Lake own that church. And I've seen that they've improved the Presbyterian Church, but people from the beach don't want to drive all the way to Cypress Lake Boulevard in Fort Myers, which is like almost 9 miles away. Come on. That church should have rebuilt. They should have asked for donations. They should have asked for volunteers. FEMA should get out of the way. And of course, FEMA was in the way. That's why they were uninsured. Obviously, they want to rebuild. They want to do it the right way. And then some government official that shouldn't have their job, got in the way, and now it's preventing that church from reopening. But the city of Fort Myers Beach, crooked as they are, can do whatever they want. That's hypocritical. You need to get rid of government entities. They don't do any good. You need to get rid of everything but the federal government. Get rid of all income taxes, all property taxes. Just make one federal 1% sales tax on everything. Nothing is excluded, so you still have to pay on, let's say, stock market or real estate. And that's it. No more building permits, no more licensing. You can do whatever you want. No more real estate licensing, no more professional licensing, no more contracting licenses, no more building permits. You know, we lower the cost of everything. No more minimum wage, no more. And that's what America is, freedom. You don't realize it, but freedom has been stolen by these criminals in office. Most of them are Democrat, about 99%, but you said that they're Republican, but America's been hijacked by these, and that's communism, when they put all these rules and things in place. We need back to the colonial days where there was no laws. You know, if you own your land, that's it. You own your land. There's no taxation whatsoever. And again, anytime tax money goes out of the United States, that's crooked. We need to get rid of no foreign embassies. This is the modern age. You have the internet. We don't need to have a foreign embassy. That just puts America in harm's way. We need no military bases outside of American territory, American possessions. If you want American troops, you have to apply to be integrated, annexed onto America. We're not going to provide troops. We're not going to fund any money abroad. What is that? You want to buy guns and ammo? We'll sell ammo to both warring parties, like we did before World War II. That was the smart thing. Unfortunately, FDR, one of the worst presidents we ever had, he got us embroiled in World War II. And what did we get out of World War II? Nothing. We hardly got any territory except for a couple islands in the Pacific that, again, the Democrats after World War II already gave away. Gave away the Philippines for no good reason. America didn't have a right to voice their opinion. MacArthur and Truman gave it away. What the heck is that about? They should be strung up. No, we should take back the Philippines. That's part of the United States territory. Panama, Jimmy Carter gave it away. Again, no laws or anything. He just gave it away. No reason. To me, it's still American territory. Teddy Roosevelt annexed it. Manifest destiny. So Jimmy Carter should have been executed in 70 whenever when he gave it away. Anyway, I could go off on that. You know, does any other country give away territory? No. So anyway, too many criminals in office. They need to be executed. You execute the criminals in office, and whatever they did was criminal, so it's automatically reversed. I don't care if foreign governments all of a sudden say Panama's mine. No, it's not. It's American. The Philippines are American. Get out. You take the government there, and you execute them because they're criminals. You want American laws, American language, American justice. Traditional American colonial justice. Town hall meetings. You know, landowners vote, but they could opt out. You have to have 100% unanimous. If a landowner wants to vote out down the road, they get to vote themselves out. You don't need to have 100% like a condominium association. No, you vote yourself in, and then if you want out, you vote yourself out. That's it. You're out. You want a special taxing district. The property owner decides whether he wants in or out. If he wants out, then he's out. It's the bottom line. There's no special referendum that needs to take place. Taxation is illegal unless the citizens vote themselves. And that, again, is a temporary thing that can be dissolved at any time between any party. It's like a right to work. It's a right to tax. If you don't want to be taxed anymore, boom, you're out. You're not taxed anymore. Anyway, I go off on that. You vote me for president, that's what you'll get. Canada will be annexed, Greenland too. Iceland will be annexed, because Europe owes that money to the United States. They owe us over $100 trillion. They'll never repay it, so we're just going to take our money now. And we're still owed change. Even if we have those two pieces of property, we're still owed change. Maybe England will owe us the Bahamas and Bermuda, and you know, we're owed Cuba, and we're owed most of, if not all Mexico, everything down to the Panama Canal. The United States is owed that. We've already taken so many illegal aliens and paid so much in benefits. Those foreign governments, it would take them an eternity to pay us back. So we just have to annex all Latin America. Again, English speaking, I'm not going to go on with that. It just, you know, the people in power right now are criminals. And they're doing everything they can to destroy America. Everything. You know, and they can't hide behind stupidity. They are stupid, but they can't hide behind it because they made promises, and they're not fulfilling them. So that's an executable offense. So the citizens should, again, be allowed to have a tribunal, and if the tribunal says execute, I don't care if it's 5 people say they need to be executed. That's legal, and those politicians can be legally executed. That's the way I would do it. Grievance is the Democrats already committed crimes with this COVID hoax death serum that the Democrats were wholeheartedly behind. That's a death sentence. All Democrats sentenced to death for that one. Again, I'm talking about people in political office or the co-conspirators, the people in the government agencies inside the private sector that's benefiting from this. That's a death sentence for them. The other people are going to be exiled. The ones who are standing up for that criminality, exiled out of North America. No questions asked for eternity. And dual citizens, you can't be dual citizens here anymore. You have to be an American only. If you're a dual citizen, you're not an American. Out of America. Out of North America. It's the bottom line. America can only be great again when it gets rid of these subversive people that are trying to destroy America. Again, America is the land of the silent majority. The silent majority wants American values. They don't want this gay, lesbian BS going on. Back to real estate. Again, these buildings that are still standing, these are investment opportunities. The land just to the north of Diamond Head now has almost been cleared of all the debris. You can see it almost straight ahead. But it's got all those pavers stacked up, so they're trying to save the pavers. Obviously, they plan on reusing them. It's $20 a paver, so or even more right now. The price of wood has come down big time, so they produced a lot of wood thinking it was going to be a horrific hurricane season, but it actually was a benign hurricane season. The whole Gulf Coast was all benign. No hurricanes in Texas, Louisiana, or Florida, so that's why the price of wood's come down. The price of concrete is coming down too. It's still up there, but that's why you're going to see most new construction out of wood, because the wood is really cheap right now. And they're still producing a lot of wood, thinking that, well, if not this year, then next year they're going to double down. So they're doubling down on production, but you know, a lot of people are hunkering down because the price of real estate is kind of high there, and FEMA and all these other government criminality are preventing Americans from reconstruction. Basically, they're threatening them with lawsuits who want to rebuild what. So yeah, you're going to have a lot less of consumer demand. So you're going to have oversupply of wood. So yeah, you're going to have a price. You know, the people who produce wood got to feed their family. So if wood is not selling at one price, they got to reduce it. It's a commodity. It comes down. Just drove over another fence show. Yeah. So looking at the seaweed here, it's definitely in a barrier format. So which means that either there's just a lot of seaweed out there, or the waves are spilling over, which means that the tide is trying to come in a little bit. Or it's just a lot of seaweed that's trying to push up there. It's getting really thick up here though. I'm gonna have to bicycle up here. Alright. So again, here's a little restaurant across the street from the Kia Estero Shopping Center, which I would like to make into a casino. If you're an investor, the Kia Estero Shopping Center, the second floor, that'd make an excellent casino. The ground floor, excellent flea market. And then once you build out each of the bottom floors, then that'd be less of a flea market, more of a fixed general store. You still charge them for parking, $10 a day. But if they go up to casino and validate for 10 minutes, then the parking is free. You see that? That's how you get them in a casino. Free parking and validate. Bingo. Everyone would do it. Plus, it would be open 24/7. If I had to do a partnership with the Seminole Casino, Seminole Indians, I would do it. It could be a Hard Rock. You could make that into a Hard Rock casino too. I would definitely do it. I could be the negotiator in the negotiations. Yeah, I guess I might put into it. Yeah, it's kind of like there's not that much music radio, so it's a very somber day. I like it actually. When you come to the beach, I don't like to hear all this extra music. I just like to hear, the seagulls, the children, the waves. It's the natural sound you want to hear. Otherwise, I'd stay at home and turn on the TV and listen to that garbage. Then you come out here and listen to this beautiful waves and seagulls and children screaming, and that's it. Again, you're going to find boats parked offshore where there's bathrooms onshore. So anywhere there's boats offshore, they're either trying to sell food or beer from their boat, or they're found a bathroom on shore. So again, looking at Lanakai, first floor above ground, still being worked on, but the ground floor is almost done. They actually finished off the ground floor and made it into like a lot of shops, and that is ready to be rented. So I guess they're gonna make more money on those. So that's why that is ready. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, you have all types coming to the beach here. People are just enjoying the wind, the temperature. It's gorgeous out. I've got a red shirt on, so I definitely don't look like a policeman. Sometimes when I wear a black outfit, I look like a policeman on the beach. With a red shirt, no. They think maybe I'm one of those lifeguards on bicycle, but I'm not. Hello. Some people are, when they look at you, you say hello. It's like maybe they're just like startled, like they're not really anticipating and say hello. Still, the beach right now is still pretty wide. There was a point, you could see it in the beach, where there's a little depression right after this big mound here. It looked like the beach was wearing away a little bit, like another 20 yards to the right of me. There's a little depression, but it's built up a little bit into like a high sand dune. So the tides have been high recently, so it's able to build this big dune right here. So they're looking in the water, and now I saw some dead horseshoe crabs. Horseshoe crabs you find a lot of in the New Jersey, Delaware area. They like colder water, but there's a variety that obviously likes warmer water. And I've seen some horseshoe crabs here. Horseshoe crabs are really ancient, and they're like crabs with armor. They like feeding on crustaceans on the bottom, and they like burrowing themselves. Maybe some of the older horseshoe crabs from up north are coming down here to retire or something. But this is awesome. This day has been awesome. High tide in the backwater, but here on the beach, because the wind is blowing out, it's causing the tide to be low. This is awesome. Let's see how many people are enjoying themselves. It's just awesome out. And they're drinking beer too as they walk in little cooler containers. This is a bad idea because this sand is really wet. I'm getting sprayed in my leg. Someone is trying to bury seaweed. They dug a hole in a ditch and they're hoping to bury it. I haven't seen any ice cream guy. I haven't seen the trumpet guy, and I haven't seen the pirate yet on the beach. This is the time when they should be out. This tide is really low. The tide in this area is definitely going out. You can see that the way that the seaweed is clumped up here. So the tide now is ebbing out. But it was coming in, so the tide is going out still. But it's ebbing and flowing a little bit here and there. This looks like almost the tricycle we just passed looked like a beach transportation. That's actually an awesome idea. You know, if you had like a specific beach hot dog stand, and you had a specific beach like liquor stand, you could develop a little transportation to transport people between the hot dog and the sand. People would love that. Plus, at slow speed like that, if the price was right, like maybe just $1, they would go for that. But you would have to have someone that, obviously, you have to have enough people wanting to do that. So the beach would have to be really crowded. That would be awesome. I know someone who's going to Daytona Beach today. I told him the ins and outs of it because, I mean, I haven't really vacationed there the last 60 years, but I've been going there periodically, like once every 10 years. So I just went up there like about 6 months ago. So I'm aware of what the current conditions are. Not this time of year, but I'm aware of Daytona Beach and where the parking is and how the beach looks and what to look out for. And you know, I still reminisce about 60 years ago. And believe it or not, a lot of the same store owners are not there, but the same stores are there. So the same hangouts are still there. It's kind of like Daytona Beach is kind of like caught in a time warp where it's frozen in time, where you may have different owners, but the same buildings are there. So you have the same, you know, rarely do the buildings change the products or the services that they sell. So like the same 7-Elevens that were there are still in operation, same Winn-Dixies, same grocery stores, whatever. So I don't know if we're going to drive all the way down to Pink Shell again. We're just going to exit right up here. Now, anywhere where there's open parcels on the beach, this is the place to buy. So the land right to the right of me is not fenced off. There's no open building permit. It's individually owned, and it's a good value. It's got a depression there, so it's even less. Hello. The value is even less because it's got a depression that needs to be filled in. But that's easily filled in by beach sand. You scrape a little beach sand off a little plow here and there in the evenings, that would easily fill that. And that's the property right there, straight ahead. Right near the casino, the Best Western Plus that I want to buy. So they're taking their sweet time doing that. You see that they just put some tar paper down. I mean, I'm working on my house faster than they're working on this. I'm one person and I work like practically every minute of every day, and I'm doing my projects faster than they're doing theirs. There must be a team of people there working on weekdays. It's sad. And that's the thing, you can get contractors that can sit back. I gotta walk it, this sand is too soft. So you can see it just about 50 yards over there. There's a big like gulch that's been formed. So that needs to be filled in. So it's gonna cost some money, yeah, but you're on the beach, so you'll get it for a discount. That's probably the cheapest real estate on the Gulf you're gonna find on the Gulf of Mexico, south of Tampa. North of Tampa, you'll get some backwater beach. This is the only real beach you're gonna get. You can get the A-frame homes on Punta Rasa are not necessarily for sale, but they are for sale if you know what I'm talking about. You talk to the owners there, you can buy it. There's a commercial property there too that used to be owned by a home builder. I'm interested in that property if I can get it for cheap. I just don't know what the new setback and the height restrictions are. So there could be a lot of baloney associated with that. I don't see a for sale sign, so I'd have to talk directly with the owner of the property. And of course, they probably don't want to sell. But some of these contractors are mom and pop companies, so the older they get, they realize that once they die, their heirs are going to sell it anyway. So they'll, when you get to about 65 years of age, you're a contractor. You sell everything because you want to spend the rest of your time on this planet enjoying yourself. If that means going to a casino in Monte Carlo or going to a casino in Rio de Janeiro or spending the whole time in Waikiki Beach in Hawaii, that's what you do. I mean, look at Joe Biden. He spends the whole time at some kind of backwater beach in Delaware, where, the city of Philadelphia used to dump raw sewage there all the time. I don't know how he could like that beach. Well, that's him, not me. All this property here on the right-hand side and left-hand side is, I wouldn't call it roped off, but yeah, there is a little rope there, so that qualifies. That qualifies for them for a building permit. And the property medic here is very impressive. But see, they're building a wooden first floor. It's one floor above ground, and that's just the cheap way of doing it. I would build concrete the whole thing. I mean, come on, the difference between concrete and wood right now is really cheap. I can see why he's doing it wood, but building code requires you to build concrete first, ground concrete, whatever it is, up to the 2 setback lines. You have to build in concrete, but above that, it's at your option. I would still build in concrete. Like this building, the Edison home, it's all concrete up to the roof. You have the first floor is 25 feet up, which is nice, and then you have 4 floors above that, or 4 floors above the 25-foot ground floor. That's beautiful. Like this building is concrete on the left-hand side there. Now there's a real fence around this property, and they're really knocking down things. So it looks like, I thought the second floor was in. They actually destroyed the pool. Now I don't know why they're doing so much destruction, because I thought this building was thank you, man. I thought this building was was ready to go, but they just demolished the second floor. Like this building on the left hand side needs to be demolished. It hasn't been yet, so definitely bums are living up in that one. And this building here, this on Salt Life, it's surf style. They've been buying up all the property. I don't understand where they're getting the money from. I mean, like, no one's going in the surf store. No one's buying anything. It's like a drug money place. This is just gonna be a quick video. We're tired of seeing Fort Myers Beach. All right, I'd go a little bit more, but again, next weekend I'm gonna do an out of area, because I plan to have a garage sale on Friday, and it depends how good I do. If I sell everything, great. If I don't, and if there's not that much competition in terms of community sales, I may extend the garage sale to Saturday. But that means still Sunday, I'll go remotely. But it all depends. And the weekend after that, I think it's the Thanksgiving Day weekend. So next weekend also, it's the Veterans Day. So that's nice. These pedestrians are taking up the entire lane. They're just swinging their arms and blocking every aspect of me trying to get around them. So I had to go out on the road. That Shipwreck Wholesale, that's pretty cool that they opened up a store. They need stores because Surf Style is not open, and I don't know what their pricing is, but I don't know how they're financing. They must be it's all stolen taxpayer money. I don't know, or whatever it is. $10 a day, so boat companies are parking their boats here for $10 a day. Why not? I mean, if the boats are selling for $50,000, $10 a day, why not? And here's a cigar place. People looks like they're buying beer and chewing on stogies. Wahoo Willies. You can smell the seafood. So Snug Harbor is open, the restaurant on the water. That's like one of the restaurants that's only open right now on the water. This restaurant, Nervous Nelly's, is not open yet. Wahoo Willie's is one of the first restaurants that was open. But I could smell Snug Harbor. It smells really good. But Kansas on the Bay, the upper level's open. Let me see if the lower level's open. because they have cars in their parking lot, so you would think that they're open. So this parking lot here is closed, which is sad. So, well, the dock is done. There's a big welcome sign. It doesn't look like they're open. So people are walking up to the front door and then they're walking away. So it doesn't look like their ground floor is open. So, but the upper deck is open. So getting off the road here because there's some traffic looking at me. So this is Matanzas Inn. They own the Matanzas Pass restaurant too. So these light blue buildings on both sides of the road are Matanzas Inn. Again, Matanzas Inn and the Lighthouse Resort are the two hotels that opened up first. So they opened up first, and then came, I believe it was Pink Shell after that, and then came the Diamond Head, and then came Lanakai. So they opened up in that order, and then soon followed by next month, hopefully, will be Margaritaville. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and next weekend hopefully it'll be out of area, but if not, it'll be in the area. I'm going to check on Sanibel too to see if Sanibel has an opening, but as of right now, you can't cross the causeway, and I'm not paying $9 to bring my car across that bridge. Not worth it because hardly anything's open. Anyway, until next time.